my childhood would not be the same without football. In fact, football was just about the only thing that left good memories from my childhood. When I look back at my childhood, I tend to think of the good times, and they mostly revolved around football, particularly playing football. I grew up in domestic violence, I grew up in street violence, and therefore football really was my savior. I do clearly remember going to school, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and I was always on my tippy toes because I grew up in a bullying culture, right? Anybody who grew up in a Middle Eastern country in the 90s, you probably know what I'm talking about. Okay, it's a very bullying culture, violent culture, and it shows. Okay, it shows. Look at the Middle East. Look how much violence there is. People say people love to blame everything on an external force, like الامريكان كله من الامريكان يا زلمه. It's from the Americans. You know, it's all the Americans' fault. No, it's not. Okay, they're only what's the word I'm looking for here? They're only exposing, or there's a better word. Let me find it here. Give me a second. Damn it, I just can't find the word, so I'm just gonna say it in plain terms. They're only taking advantage of what is already the foundation of people, the cultures of the people living in Middle Eastern cultures in particular. I'm speaking particularly about Arabic speaking countries. I don't know how it is in other Middle Eastern countries like Iran or Turkey, although I would imagine it's something similar. So they're only taking advantage of that. They have an idea what kind of cultures they're dealing with. They're very violent cultures, man. I'm telling you. Okay, if you grew up in an Arabic speaking country while growing up, you know what I'm talking about, right? You know what I'm talking about. In the 90s particularly, I don't know, it's probably different now in some places, not so much in others, right? My parents come from Syria, and look at Syria right now. And again, people love to blame it on the external forces. Oh, Russia, America, blah blah. No. It's very common for Syrian dads to hit their kids. Okay, it wasn't an unusual thing for me. All right, so there's no one else to blame. It's just the way it is. All right, so anyway, we went on off a tangent here. We're supposed to talk about sports. So in many ways, football was my savior. And when I say football, for you Americans, it's, you guys for whatever weird reason call it soccer. But it was mostly playing the sport, and I would watch it from time to time. Like I would watch maybe the World Cup semi-final and the final. I would watch like the European Cup also, you know, just the big games. I would watch the Champions League, and from time to time I would tune in into La Liga. I like La Liga. But not like religiously watching it, okay? And playing it is amazing, and sports are amazing. Okay, sports are amazing to play and fun to watch from time to time. Well, what happened to me right around 13 is when or even a little bit before actually, a little bit before, maybe around 11 or 12, I started to get chubby, spend more of my time playing video games, and I started to just watch like religiously. Like every week I would tune in and I would watch every single game I can. And the more I grew older, the more that behavior formed itself into becoming a pattern. So then I would tune in every Saturday, every Sunday. And by the time I was in university, by the time I was 19, 20, 21, I would like tune in on Saturdays, Sundays. I'd wake up early. That's when I was in Canada at that time. I'd wake up early because the games are super early. I'd wake up at 7, sometimes earlier, but 7 usually, to watch Premier League games. And I would put in like 2-3 games in a row. I'd watch them. And then and I would tune in into as many games as I can. And it was only around age 23 when I decided I have to start living life and stop playing video games and stop living someone else's life through them, living vicariously through others, that I stopped watching. And now I tune in, maybe like I tuned into the Euro, some of the games. I tuned in into, I watched only the extra time in the final between, what was it, Italy and England. I think I tuned in into Spain, Italy. I watched the second half, and then they went all the way to penalties. I tuned in just a few games, and every time after watching, I'd usually only tune in at the second half because like first half is usually boring. I'd be like, damn, that was a big waste of time. Okay, so I'm not putting down anybody that's tuning in into sports. I've just done it recently, but I'm not like I was. I didn't tune in at all during the season. I didn't watch a full game. I'd watch sometimes highlights every now and then, mostly Champions League games. I'm not fully not watching, so I'm not putting anybody down. I'm not saying you should do or shouldn't do. You do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm just trying to provide perspectives here. And so sports, what I've come to conclude based on my own experience and opinion, is that sports, watching, not playing. There's a great distinction here between watching and playing. Playing is good. Playing is fun. Playing is healthy for you. You're doing it yourself. You're not living vicariously through someone else. You're doing it yourself. It's impacting you. You're having fun. You're reaping the health benefits of exerting yourself in that way. I'm talking about watching, and I'm talking about particularly religious watching here. I'm talking about tuning in and out every week. All right? I'm talking about you watching, let's say, the NBA, and watching, like, let's say your favorite team is LA, what was their name? I don't know anything about basketball. Although there was a 2-year period, actually. Again, it was I think when I was 17, 18, where I actually tuned in into, like, a lot of NBA games. I was influenced by my friends back in Toronto, the Toronto area, and people love basketball there. Let's say your favorite team is Los Angeles Lakers, right? And you tune into every single game in the season. You watch every single game, or almost every single game, and then every single game in the playoff, and all the way through. My friend, that is one of the biggest waste of time, in my opinion, and I'll tell you why. See, as a man, as a male, a healthy male with healthy levels of testosterone, healthy levels of hormones, healthy male, physically, emotionally, mentally, in touch with the masculine energies, you're supposed to be doing shit in this world. Like, you're supposed to be offering your leadership, your skills, your talents, your abilities to the world in whichever way. That could be like, I'm not saying you have to be out there all day long doing some labor work or out in nature hunting fruits or something. No, you could be actually sitting at home all day, but providing something valuable to the world, right? In the form of, I don't know, music that's inspiring, art that's inspiring, videos that are educational, or you're out doing something. You're starting a community, a permaculture community, perhaps teaching people how to grow their own food, learning skills, right? Learning how to grow your own food, spending some time, whether it's at home or whether it's outside, learning skills, useful skills, survival skills, but as a man, as a healthy male, and they're trying to completely eradicate the healthy male. Why? I'll tell you in a second. Stay with me. As a healthy male, you are naturally, by the way, if you're healthy, you have an inclination, a calling to do something for the world, to partake on a mission. Okay? That's if you're a healthy male. And if you're a healthy male, I don't have to tell you this, you don't have to listen to me. You will feel this urge to serve the world with something, to be part of something greater than you, to live life in of itself, and to take a leadership role. Not to sit around week in, week out with some beers and some nachos and some snacks that are making you even, they're fucking your hormones up even more and taking away from your masculinity. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying right or wrong here. I'm just giving you an opinion, right? All right. As someone who's watched sports for many, many years religiously, particularly football, okay? But for those 2 years, it was really weird because I never was into basketball. I was actually watching basketball. Anyway, and so sports are a huge distraction, and in fact, it's very, very deliberate. There is a plan, a plot that's been playing itself out now for decades, to pacify males, to pacify the masculine energy, which is protective, which stands for truth, and which protects those who it loves, and stands up for truth, and stands up and fights and dies to protect justice. Check out the movie Braveheart. You know, the man stood up and died to protect his people. What was his name? Wallace? To protect his people, to protect truth, to protect those who he loved, even if it meant his own death. And that's the essence of masculine energy, you see? That's the essence of a man. You will die for a cause. You will die to protect truth. You will die to protect those who you love. You will die before you accept injustice. But look, the plan, this plan that's been going on for decades now, it's working pretty good, isn't it? You've got all these emasculated men, completely emasculated, just complying with Satan. Oh, I gotta be careful here. With satanic pedophonies, all right? Just following like sheep, you know, just putting this face diaper on their face, and just completely pacified, not a care to protect truth, not a care to stand up and fight against injustice, not a care in the world, because they're emasculated. And that's a plan that's been going on for decades now. And I could tell you so many different aspects of this plan. You've got porn, you know, get people to keep nutting, and that'll plummet their testosterone levels. Then here, oh, beautiful. I was just about to say it, and it came up. The sun, the beautiful sun. See this beautiful sun that just came out here? They tell you put sunscreen on, protect yourself from the sun. Stay away from the sun. Don't get a sunburn. A sunburn, by the way, is the sun detoxing you. And if you've got lots of acidity, it burns you. Like it cooks the acids on your skin, right? Well, the sun is a very, very important for vital testosterone levels, vitamin D levels, and all kinds of cool things that the sun gives us that we don't even, you know, even the modern religion of science that either doesn't disclose or just doesn't know. Okay, so they tell you stay away from the sun all the time. Stay away from the sun, of course, because that's gonna plummet your testosterone levels. Okay, of course. Don't even get me started. Estrogen in our water supplies, in the food supply. You know, they want you to eat soybeans. You know, because they I think it's soybeans. It fucks up the testosterone levels of a man, and it's got more of estrogen in it. The antibiotics they put in even like the meats, right? You guys know, like, I'm not in for eating animal products, but if you must, believe it or not, you know, eat them raw. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that thing right now, but these antibiotics in the chickens and the pigs and all those stuff, all these meats that people eat, is destroying their testosterone levels and raising the estrogen levels. And look, the plan is working. Canada's got almost 80% juice rate. Okay, I've lived in Canada for 15 years, and I can tell you that the men there are absolutely spineless. Absolutely spineless. Oh, it's cringy, man. It's cringy. I don't know what's going on in Canada. I don't know what the hell's going on in Canada. I'm like ashamed to be Canadian these days. All right, we've got 80% juice rate, almost 80%. And like I said, like, oh man, the men are so spineless. So spineless, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And people say, oh, Canadians are so nice and polite. No! No! The men there have been completely emasculated through various means. I've only said a few means here. Okay, I can sit here and I can find you a different, at least 5-10 different things leading up to this preparation for their plans. They don't want, look, if you have healthy masculine men, we'd have so many people right now standing up against this injustice, against this tyranny that's happening right now. We'd have a bunch of bravehearts everywhere, but we don't. We don't. And sports are there to distract you, because what happens is, as a male, you still have this urge to like assert yourself in the world. But if you're not doing it, if let's say all you do is you're working behind this computer screen 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, sitting down, not getting any sun, not doing any movement, guess what? You still have this urge inside of you to like assert yourself. So instead of asserting yourself, either go and play in a sport, doing some form of martial arts or this or that, what you do is you just sit down, get beers, which further imbalance your hormones and your testosterone levels, and and you watch other men do it for you. Okay, it's like a form of masturbation. It's a form of masturbation. It is. You're masturbating when you're watching sports. That's the way it is. You're masturbating when you watch sports. You're watching other men do manly shit, and you're just sitting there and drinking beer and eating nachos. So I think that watching sports, it's my opinion, is a coordinated, planned phenomena, and that's why they get paid so much, to pacify and keep men distracted while they continue to poison them in other means to further pacify them. And look, it's working. It's working. It's working. It's working. I think the EU now got a 70% juice rate. All right, they're 70% juiced. You know, just no sense of integrity, no sense of, you know, who cares? So what if you die? So what if you die? You've got to have a cause and fight for it, man. And there's plenty of causes to pick up right now, believe me. What's gonna happen if you don't put a face diaper on? You gonna die? You scared of like, you know, authority? Be your own authority. A healthy masculine man is his own authority. If you're not your own authority, they've succeeded at emasculating you. Alright? But some of us, a few of us are still left here, and we've got to stand up, and we've got to protect those who we love, and we've got to protect truth. Do not comply, be your own authority, get out there, get a mission, get something, a worthy cause to fight for, and die for it if need be. That's it. I will see you guys in the next video.